Well, you heard it here first. Some of my predictions are absolutely spot on. I predicted that Gridserve, when they announced their 20% discount for the summer months, would not be able to stop it because that was due to expire on the 30th September. And I was spot on. They haven't been able to stop it. I'm Dave. This is Dave Takes It On. Let's see what Gridserve have done. Well, we're on our way to a location and just heard on the news, Gridserve are introducing a new scheme. Well, I did say if they offer a 20% discount over the summer months, that they will gain a lot of people who normally wouldn't use Gridserve because of the 79 pence charge that they make. So the 20% off brought it down to about 67, 68p, which is quite a drop, brings it down into what I call a sensible range. But the danger is always when you introduce a discount, particularly limited period one, the danger is always that when you stop it, there's a sudden rush of people will stop using your chargers just on principle that one day it's 60 odd pence, the next day it's nearly 80 pence. And so you get a massive drop off. So they have to have a balance between what they gain by giving the 20% discount over the summer months against what they're going to lose from people saying, I've had enough, I'm going to stop charging. So the 20% was very welcome. I think they're beginning to appreciate that they're having a lot more impact from the Tesla open to all superchargers than they anticipated. The last time I was down there and I spoke to someone down there, they said that they anticipated way back in the day, before Tesla really got going with the open to all superchargers, that they were anticipating about a 10 to 15 pence price difference. So if they're charging 79p, Tesla would be coming in at about 60 or 65p, something in that range. Now, in actual fact, open to all without any membership, non-members can now get prices down to 40 pence. And with membership, they can get down to 30 pence. And this is totally off the scale for anything they anticipated. And this has to be having a big impact. And when we go to places like Rugby or Exeter, we're finding that the Gridserves aren't being used as much. And there's a lot more people are starting to charge on the open to all chargers. So what happened was on the 30th of September, the old scheme expired, the 20% expired, and immediately they came back with a second offer. That offer is from the 1st of October, only until the end of October, is a 10% discount if you use the app. So it's a sort of halfway house. Now, I'm not sure which way they're going to go. It could be that they're going to do a permanent 10% and they realise that's the way to get more business. Or it could be they're trying to soften people up. Yeah, it was 20%, it's now 10%. It's still worth doing. And then in a month's time, they can drop the 10% and they won't get the same drop off as they would if they just went 20% down to full, straight up to full price. So there's a bit of it's a bit of a gamble here. I'm not sure they have any strict and accurate figures as to what the impact is when they are doing these discounts and when they're starting to see the results. They are experiencing big problems. Places like Franklin services on the M5. This is where there's a 16-bay Tesla supercharger open to all and a Gridserve charger open to all. And they are noticing a massive difference now that nobody's using the Gridserves anymore. So they've got to be hurting, particularly now that they've had the big investment, a £500 million investment into expanding the network. So they are starting to realise that there's a lot more going on. So the 10% is very welcome. Anything to drop the price down is welcome, but unfortunately they're going to need to go an awful lot further than that, because if you go to a location where the two are side by side, you'd have to be crazy to pay 10, 20, 30p more just because it's Gridserve. And that's going to start hitting them into the future. So what can they do? Well, one of the obvious things to do is to bring in a membership of their own. Now, memberships are a strange thing. Some people really don't like them, and I don't understand why. I always try and use the analogy, if you buy petrol and your local garage started saying, give me a £5 a month and I'll knock 10p a litre off the petrol, there'd be queues down the road for about 10 miles, people queuing up to get 10p a litre off. Yet when an EV charger offers 10% or 20% off if you pay a membership of £5 or £8 a month, everyone goes, oh, I'm not paying for membership. It's a really strange attitude. But the memberships do actually make sense. In general, it's a little bit like a mobile phone offering a fixed price and all the calls you can make, unlimited calls. And they know that people don't, if they get unlimited calls, just sit on the phone all day. There will be some people who abuse the system, but for everyone who does abuse the system, there'll be dozens who say, well, I've actually got no one really to phone. So although I've got all these free calls, I'm not going to use it. So you have this balance between what they pay as a member and what discount you give them. And that will set really a financial argument for doing this. And in many cases, for example, if you go away on a 2-week holiday and you're not in your car, you jump in the plane and go to Mallorca, for example, then you won't be using their charges at all, but you will still be paying their membership fee. So there is a financial argument for doing a membership, and Gridserve talked about one an awful long time ago, and it's never come to anything. So I suspect that is one of the possible options, is to look at a full membership. The other one is, I've already mentioned it, and this is something a lot of people don't talk about at this stage. And this might be a scoop. Well, let's run it past you and see what you think. Offer a deal with unlimited charging for a fixed monthly fee. Now, on the face of it, this sounds very silly, but let's face it, if you link it to your car, my Tesla is linked to the Tesla account. So I can link any deal they offer specifically to my car. So I can't go to a mate of mine, oh, use my account and charge your car, because everything's linked. So a CPO could actually give an unlimited amount of free charging for a monthly fee. I'm not going to put any figures on it, it's just a principle at this stage. So they need to work out how much someone will use, how much they'll change. But an average user, an average driver only drives about 10,000 miles a year. It's actually 8, but let's up it to 10. So if they're going to be doing 10,000 miles a year and they're getting 4 miles per kilowatt hour, which is about the average, and if they can't charge at home at all, they're only going to use 2,500 kilowatt hours. And if we take that as on the Tesla rate, for example, open to all, on about 40p per kilowatt hour, you're looking at about £100 a year. Now, if you offer them free charging, they're not suddenly going to start driving 20,000 miles a year, because that would just be sitting in the car and driving for the sake of it. And while some people might well do that, they might well decide to go on journeys they wouldn't otherwise have taken. That can be balanced by some people just won't abuse the system. So for a fixed monthly fee, they get free charging. I know it's not free technically because you're paying a monthly fee, but you know what I mean. Okay, so you could have a point where someone goes on a 2-week holiday, so they're still paying their monthly fee, but they're now actually not using your charger if they've jumped on a plane. And that's the swings in favour of the CPO. The downside of this is 1 month for the summer holidays. If you decide to go on a road trip and you want to drive through the whole of Europe in your car for your same monthly fee, you'll now be able to drive 2,000 or 3,000 miles in the 1 month. But again, there's a calculation that takes place that would say, if we charge this, then on average, we will come out slightly ahead. It'll be hugely attractive for the EV drivers, for the simple fact they don't have to worry about charging price anymore. They know they're going to be paying X pound a month every month. It's just part of the bills now. And they also know that they can go to any of this CPO's chargers and just charge for free. No worry, you don't need cards or anything. It would always be auto charge or a similar system. So there's a lot of mileage in that, And this really came up a long time ago when the internet was first starting, and all that was happening was people were looking for ways of making money out of the internet, trying to charge people for going on various websites. And in actual fact, it all settled down in the end, and now everybody seems to be on a fixed monthly fee for internet access. You might get 20 gigabytes, you might get unlimited data, whatever the figure is, but you now pay and you have a set amount. Why doesn't someone have a look at doing that for EV charging? So Gridserve, if anyone's listening from Gridserve, you might want to have a look into this. And if you want to talk to me about it, I'll give you the driver's point of view. But this would be a good idea. It would be totally novel. They would get a massive amount of business just from people trying it, even if some of them didn't stick with it for very long. But even if they did stick with it, this is a really good thing they could be doing for the future. Anyway, that's it for now. That's my rantings for this particular drive. So we're approaching our destination now. We're going to be doing some filming. So thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed this, please click the like button. It does all help us. And if you'd like to see more, please click subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. It's totally free, but it does make a big difference for the channel. And for those who want to go a little bit further and support the channel, have a look at our Patreon membership. There's lots of goodies there for people to see. So thanks for now. I'm Dave.